Hey guys, so we are going to talk about a tactic that I'm going to raise an eyebrow at whether or not you can even call it a tactic. God, I wish I'd learned how to do that or had the muscle ability to do that. And the tactic is the concept of whether or not you should be hand copying ads to learn copyright. Now I feel like I've broken my eyebrows. Whether or not you should be hand copying ads to learn copywriting. And when I mean hand copying, I mean literally looking at an ad, writing the words down, and copying them into a notebook or something. It's a piece of advice that has been around for a while, and I'm going to tell you straight up, it's so dumb. There's no point in me mincing words here. It's just a really, really dumb tactic for trying to learn copywriting. Here's the thing. When you are trying to learn copywriting, yes, you absolutely should be noticing the copy around you. And in fact, even just learning to notice the copy around you, because we're so used to filtering out just about anything we can, but learning to notice the copy around you is a big deal. And beyond that, taking the time to analyze the copy based on what you have learned, based on the foundational principles you learned, based on the more advanced techniques you've learned. Analyzing the copy to see if it is meeting objectives, if the benefit is clear, if it's clear who the target audience is, and if it seems to be talking to that target audience, if there's a good call to action, those kinds of things. So yeah, you absolutely should be noticing the copy around you, should be evaluating the copy around you, analyzing the copy around you, and if you really, really want to build up your skill, I would also recommend, if you notice a piece of copy is not meeting the objectives that you believe that it should be trying to meet, rewrite it, practice rewriting it. But what is not a good use of your time is spending time hand copying ads. I think this is probably the most absurd piece of advice that I've heard in almost anything when it comes to copywriting or learn copywriting. I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense. You don't learn to write novels by hand copying Moby Dick, right? So why would you learn copywriting by learning the foundational principles and then putting them into practice, whether that is in, like we do in the CCA, whether that is in practice examples. We'll give you a creative brief, and then you practice writing to that creative brief. That is a great way to practice. And then of course you refine your skills and you post your work and you get feedback on it, just like you would in a creative brief, in a creative review. That is how you learn and practice copywriting. But this idea of hand copying, think about it. It doesn't even make any sense. What are you possibly going to get out of hand copying copy that someone else has written and that you haven't even taken the time to analyze, right? Like if there's no analysis, what's the point of it? And even if you do analyze it, what's the point of hand copying? I've heard people say, you learn the structure. But the structure is not something that you need to learn. You're not learning poetry. This isn't about iambic pentameter. You don't need to learn the structure. There is a place for hand copying in that, like, for example, in classes or when you take courses and you want to remember something. It's been proven that if you hand copy something that you want to remember, it increases retention. So for example, if there was in the CCA, if you're watching the videos and there's a key line, you're like, I really want to remember that, you pause the video and you hand copy it down. We always recommend taking notes. That will enhance your retention. It will enhance retention, and it will also enhance, I guess really kind of same thing, but it will enhance retention and enhance understanding of that concept. But hand copying someone else's copy, it just doesn't even make any sense. Because you're not trying to remember it. You're not trying to It just doesn't make any sense. The concept of hand copy and copy to learn copywriting doesn't make any sense. If you read a phrase that you like, why not make a note of it? I do it all the time. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you see something or, take a screenshot, be like, oh, I really love how they put that, or hey, that was a great line. And if you're a CCA student, share it in the group and talk about what you like, what you don't like. That's a different thing though, right? That's making a note, that's grabbing swipe, that's making a note of something that you were like, oh, I really like that. That was interesting the way they did that. I want to think about that some more, about how that talks to the target audience. In that case, you're grabbing because you want to remember it and then maybe analyze it later. That's different from this whole advice of sitting down and writing down, okay, I see this ad, I'm copying this ad, got milk, question mark. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Just from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense. Instead of wasting time hand copying ads, I'm going to go back to at the beginning, just in case anybody missed it, is take the principles that you learn, the foundational principles and then the more advanced principles. And yes, absolutely, notice the copy that is out there in the world, in your inbox, in your newspaper, in your mailbox, on billboards, on radio ads, any of that kind of stuff. Start really noticing the copy around you, and then take the time to analyze that copy. Does it meet the objectives? Based on what you know about the principles of copywriting, does it meet those objectives? And how? If it does, great. How does it meet those objectives? If it doesn't, how does it not meet those objectives? And then again, bonus points if you really want to be a great copywriter, if you really want to be successful, take the time to, if it doesn't meet those objectives, take the time to rewrite it and practice in that way. And then of course, if you're a CCA student as well, we have so many action sheets for you to practice. Post your work for feedback in the group. As our students know, we have a very supportive, friendly group. So post your feedback, give feedback to other people. That is how you learn copywriting. You learn copywriting by learning the principles, practicing the principles, analyzing other copy that's out there in the world. You do not learn it by hand copying other people's ads. It's dumb. It's a waste of time, and there's so many, I'm just giving you a list. So there are so many better ways to spend your time if you want to build your copywriting career and become as effective of a copywriter as you possibly can. So cross that hand copying step off your list. Skip that big time.